Hi, I'm here at PAX Australia 2016, and I am with Ben Loomes you are Syrinscape almost.
I am Syrinscape. I'm most of the noises, most of the dramatic, beautiful music and roars, and the creator of everything, and responsible ultimately for making people's tabletop games awesome.
There we go, that's Ben. Syrinscape appeared in issue 10 of the magazine. So we're just going to catch up briefly with what's happened with Syrinscape since then. Ben, when you talked about Syrinscape in issue 10, you mentioned that you just released some stuff for Rise of the Rune Lords.
Yeah.
So since then, have you expanded with more content from PAXAus as well as content from other places? Are you branding out?
Yes. So we completed Rise of the Rune Lords, so now if you're playing that amazing adventure path by PAXAus with Pathfinder or 3.5 or 5th edition hack or whatever you want to, you can now have the complete audio solution for that module. You can just touch those moods as you go down through the app, and as you go to each scene in the adventure, you've got the perfect sounds and the perfect music. It's really, really easy to use. We finished Rise of the Rune Lords. We are just at the end of Hell's Rebels. We did Dragon's Demand, so we're pumping out Pathfinder content really, really fast, and obviously all that content is really, really great for Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, a red dragon is a red dragon, and a green dragon's a green dragon, and ogres are ogres. Yeah. We also have a license with Mutants and Masterminds, so that's in the sci-fi player, and they're like superheroes punching each other in futuristic cities and on spaceships and all that. Okay. So that's really fun as well.
Okay. And I also noticed that you've got Catan. You've got like Catan sets, and so is the board game area something else that you're going to be exploring?
Yeah. So we released a fantasy player, which was for fantasy role-playing. We've got a sci-fi player, which is for all your sci-fi role-playing games. Cthulhu works well in that as well, especially if you mix together some fantasy sounds. And we also have a board game player now. We have the official sounds for the Catan board game. So when you roll a 7, normally in Catan you just go, oh, it's a 7, and it's a pretty common number actually. But we have, for instance, a one-shot, a little button in Syrinscape. You just reach over and touch it when you roll a 7, and you get this sad trombone, except it sounds more like a trombone because it's not my voice. And then there's 60 different smart-ass roller comments done by this fantastic voice actor, a friend of mine, and that's really, really fun. Really highlights and makes that event in the game really well, as well as hearing the entire island of Catan and all the little sheep and the birds and all that sort of stuff. It's pretty fun. Awesome.
It's good to see that you're expanding the experience of Syrinscape. Yeah. Also in the article you're talking about that you're going to start looking at more devices that Syrinscape was available on. So have you expanded what they're available on? So because it was just before, it was basically on PC, but you're talking about mobile devices or tablets or that kind of thing. So what birth of devices is Syrinscape now available on?
It's funny talking to you again and thinking of all the things we've done. It's really actually cool. So yes, an account in Syrinscape is an email password combination. Everything you own or have access to is attached to that account, and you can actually sign into any device you like. Your friend could bring their device over, and all your stuff lights up. And that's on iOS, so iPads and iPhones, on Android phones and tablets, and PC and Mac as well. So if you can't find a device to play it on, you're not really trying very hard.
Awesome. It's good to see that it's got a wider availability to it now. Okay, and so one of the last things you talked about in the article was the upcoming creator, the sound creator, which I understand you have here at PAX this year.
Yep.
So you're going to take us through some of this and show us how it works and what it's capable of.
What's really cool about the creator is that users are able to create all their own content now. They can import their own sounds, they can do their own voice acting, they can use music from a computer game that they own. They hit a little cloud, it uploads onto the server, and then becomes a normal sound set that they can play in any of their devices, which is really, really super cool. But if what they create has no copyright material that's violating anyone's copyright, it's all either Creative Commons or they created it themselves, or it's a mishmash of all stuff from within Syrinscape and a bit of extra stuff, they can actually share it with the whole community as community content, and that's what's really, really cool. And what I'll show you on the creator is an example of some community content that one of our users made. A few people were asking on the forums for like a mass battle scenario where you've got huge big armies, and And my response at that time was, I'm super busy making all this other amazing content, and you can get this content just by mixing together these elements that already exist in Syrinscape. For instance, there was a riot scene in one of the Adventure Path modules, and it has this fantastic howling, screaming, crazy masses, which I actually got the samples from recordings of the English Parliament, which is kind of scary, but it's amazingly fantastic. And so Steve Barr, a fantastic English SoundSet Creator fan, got together all those sounds within the creator and then shared it as community content. So now all our top level subscribers have access to all this amazing stuff that people are building. So it's not only me having to build everything, which is really cool. So have a look down here. So you might be familiar with what Syrinscape looks like in the normal player, which is gorgeous and beautiful. And this is what it looks like in the creator. Here are the moods, which set off presets of all the elements of the sound design. And here are the elements. And the elements, just like in the player, have a start and a stop button. So they're either playing or they're not. And then they have a volume as well. But what's amazing in the creator is every single one of the parameters that I have available when I'm creating content is available within the creator to adjust. So there's dozens and dozens of them. There's the ambience, that's the echoey chamber, whether it's an echoey cathedral or it's a weird forest or a drunken state. What sort of reverb is that sound being played in? There's the positioning of the sound. So this sound always appears on the right-hand side of the listener and all the way around to the rear speaker and surround. How far away is the sound? So this sound, each time it picks a sound, is either 1 meter away or 10 meters away or somewhere in between. The speed it's moving, whether it's triggered by the user only or whether it's timed, how long it takes for the first sample to play. I'm going blah, 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 and all these parameters. Plus, a playlist here of all the sounds that are available. So the way Syrinscape works, it has like a library of sounds. So say this sample. Let's play some of them. I'll play a couple of them for the microphone. So each of those samples is triggered automatically by this element. So when it's in play mode, you can see that those samples are playing now, one by one, according to the timing and direction settings. And what the creator does is give you access to all those settings, so that when you mix them all together, you get something a little bit like this. So you can see each of those moods set Syrinscape up into a different mode. Different elements were started and the volume was changed of other elements. And that's what makes Syrinscape work so beautifully. All those incredibly detailed parameters and timing and spatial elements and everything. It's really exciting to me that the users now have access to all that stuff, because it's like this. So what Syrinscape is an incredibly powerful, beautiful machine that brings samples to life and mixes them together in a realistic way that creates real immersion at the table. And with the community content that's being built, the wealth of available environments and the different styles of sound design are really, really growing in Syrinscape, which is super cool.
That's excellent. It's good to see that you've managed to capture a community in Syrinscape now, where before you had users. Now you have friends. Yeah. Awesome. All right, so that's Ben Loomes for Syrinscape, and I'm Matthew Lee from the campaigner at PAXAus 2016. Hug it out, hug it out. Oh.